Here's one from Rich. New York's Mayor Eric Adams has allowed non-U.S. citizens to vote in its local elections. What's the strategy here? What are the chances other cities will follow suit? What are the chances a Republican challenge in New York to this measure comes out victorious? If this trend continues, what moves need to be made to defend election integrity?
Well, as a New York City resident, I'd like to say, first of all, that I'm horrified by it. Secondly, what I believe the intent of this law is to allow elites to create a permanent lumpen proletariat, a mob, which they can control, to ram down whatever policies they want, even when there's a majority of citizens against it. I don't know enough about constitutional law to say whether this is against the New York State Constitution. However, I believe that if there is any ambiguity on this, what we require is a movement to amend the state constitution such that only U.S. citizens can vote in any state and local elections. And I think that would gain enormous support and would be copied around the country were anyone else to have the wickedness to try this elsewhere.
It's absolutely astonishing. I grew up in New York, and there was definitely a lot of people around who were not citizens. But I do think that if you ask the average man in the street in New York, woman in the street, is a non-citizen allowed to vote in the state constitution, they wouldn't even be aware that that's possible. So a lot of these things, they get away with it because the average person assumes, of course you can, and then they slip it by. But I do think that there has to be an analysis done for non-citizens that are living in the city, for example. I would be in favor of them being allowed to call the police in any circumstance and getting full assistance if someone's robbing them, attacking them. They don't have to live in a lawless black hole where the system can't deal with them. But, so I would be in favor of that a cop can come to your house and settle your domestic dispute and not get involved in your immigrant status. But to go to the level of voting, I think that's way, way, way beyond where we need to go.
I'm certain, based on the testimony I've given in the past regarding voting security, the idea is that you have to show ID. And in this case, it sounds like New York is trying to include using ID, knowing that these people are illegal aliens or improperly voting. And I think this is what they want. They want to be able to kind of blur the line because it is unconstitutional for non-citizens, as far as I can tell, to vote. But I think it's one of the situations where the left wants to create a permanent underclass, which is always going to vote for them because the progressives, will always reward that behavior. And I think this is something that we've seen over and over that we need to address straight on, is that this idea that there's a permanent underclass. Let me give you an example. Baltimore. A certain prosecutor there is being prosecuted by the feds over her wrongdoing. But more importantly, one of the things President Trump said about Baltimore is all the money, the federal money that goes into Baltimore. And yet you never see any improvement of the conditions of those who live in Baltimore. Same in New York. You see all this money, federal money, being spent on all these communities, yet nothing changes. It's because the incentive is not for people to rise up, become legal, and go on. It's to stay in the mess they're in. And that mess is what these politicians count on, continuing to perpetuate their power. It's all about power. And I think we need to be a lot more direct about how to go about addressing this head on. So.
Go back to the issue of Loudoun County School and the parents showing up and demanding that they be heard. As you recall, the response from some on the left was that the parents were way out of line. And of course, the letter that went to the Department of Justice from the Department of Homeland Security. There was then would-be Governor Terry McAuliffe's statement that, of course, the parents should not have a say in how their kids are educated. And this idea that an echelon of government can essentially pay no attention to the voters. And as you look at it, as that echelon rises, you go from a town to a city to the state government to the federal government, it becomes ever more remote, ever more difficult for the average citizen to impact the government. And by making the voter base in New York City larger and larger, the average citizen's essentially impact is diluted, and it reaches right into the very heart of, again, a participatory government. Is that if the government is essentially trying to dilute your vote, if the very government that you are electing is trying to dilute your vote, there's something wrong here. There's something fundamentally not in tune with the idea of our government, and the idea of the Ninth and 10th Amendments and the reserving of rights and powers to the individual or to the state and not given to the federal government speaks directly to that issue, is that the further government gets away from you, the further and larger government gets, the less impact you have on it. And therefore the amount of things that they are allowed to do and how they're allowed to do them needs to be very carefully watched, and the people need to push back whenever someone in government says, well, we're going to change that a little. No, let's talk about it before you change that. And I think the electorate now in New York City need to go back to Mel Brooks' line. They need a harumph.
Thank you for watching this clip of our Ask Us Anything session, part of our Thought to Action series presented by the London Center for Policy Research. If you'd like to see the full Ask Us Anything session, enjoy exclusive content you won't see anywhere else, as well as sneak previews, and to ask your own questions, please become a member of our Patreon page, patreon.com/thoughttoaction. Members will enjoy more exclusive in-depth conversations, as well as panel discussions, and live streams are coming. Once again, thank you for being with us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and make your day an excellent one.